Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome to your August 2020 monthly forecast for all signs, actually. I don't know about you guys, but Mercury retrograde is doing a real number on me. So I'm doing this while Mercury is still retrograde. Ignore me if I repeat myself or something or other, okay? Just, I'll try to remember everything that I meant to say, okay? Anyway, and we had really like a 2 week stretch of 90-degree plus weather in my area, and it was really, really bad. Made me sick, like a bunch of other people, made me ill. So on top of that and other things mechanical happening, I'm only finally getting to you now. Sorry. But anyways, okay, so Mercury in Leo is still retrograde up until the 11th when it turns direct, but, you might have to give it a few days to kick in before you notice it. Some people, believe it or not, actually notice it right away, but it's usually because of something in their chart, their own personal chart that's affected by it, okay? So it turns direct on the 11th and is still in Leo till the end of the month. And Venus actually moves into Leo on the 25th, and the Sun is in Leo up until the 22nd, okay? And then Mars is still in Virgo up until the 6th, and then it moves into Libra for the rest of the month, okay? And the Sun moves into Virgo on the 23rd, and there is a new moon in Virgo. I'm sorry. The 22nd is when the Sun moves into Virgo, and the new moon is on the 23rd in Virgo. There's a full moon in Aquarius on the 9th, okay? And Uranus is in Gemini just temporarily, and Saturn and Neptune are retrograde and are in Aries temporarily, okay? These three planets will move into these signs next year. Okay, I believe the beginning of next year. So we're just getting a little bit of a preview right now. Okay, and Jupiter is in Cancer along with Venus. Venus is in Cancer up until the 25th. Okay, so you couldn't ask for like a better aspect to have Jupiter and Venus together, traveling together in one sign. Okay, very, very nice. And Pluto is in Aquarius, and it is also retrograde. So thank you very, very much to my subscribers for liking and commenting and sharing my videos and inquiring about me. I really, really appreciate everything that you guys do for me. Thank you very, very much. And if you're new to my channel and you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell. You will be notified each time I upload something. And there's links below in the description box. There is one to my website, but if you would like to know more about whatever, if I do this or that, what kind of chart, or just ask me anything, it's just easier to email me at zaneszodiac@gmail.com, okay? And don't forget to check out my weekly shorts, which are like the daily aspects, okay? But remember, there aren't aspects between the planets every single day, okay? So, now for your forecast. Hi, Aquarius. So, let's see here. Well, I guess the biggest news for you is your full moon. There's a full moon in your sign on the 9th, okay? You have Pluto in your sign now for about the next 20 years, and it's retrograde, okay? So, some of you born in, like, the early days of, like, of Aquarius, like in January, might notice a little bit of a difference. It's, a lot of people, it's gradual, though, you might look back, during this time and see that there was a difference, but you're probably not seeing it right now. But anyways, when planets are retrograde, it gives you the opportunity to, like, review whatever's happened so far, okay? Now, Pluto in your sign, and especially in your first house, makes you appear to be a very, very powerful person, Okay, you are, but maybe you don't feel that way. Sometimes some people feel powerless. Okay, you have to watch my video on Pluto in Aquarius. Okay, but just for now, you know, because this time of year, Leo is your opposite sign. So this time of year sometimes isn't the funnest part of the year for you. Okay, everybody has a high point and a low point to the year. The high point is when planets are in your sign, and the low point is when planets are in your opposite sign, and yours is Leo. All that means is there is a tug of war between planets. Like your sun in Aquarius is directly across from the transiting sun right now, or vice versa. The transiting sun in Leo is directly across from your natal sun, or whatever other planets you have in Aquarius, and it creates this tug of war between these planets. Energy, you know, so sometimes people just feel like a little bit depleted, or feel like and this is the best thing to do if you feel that way. Just wait. You know, everything, it passes anyway, unless it's something you absolutely have to do at this time. If you don't feel like doing it, then don't do it. So, you know, it just seems like maybe your efforts are like thwarted in some way or other, or things just aren't going the way you had planned. So it's a good idea to just, you know, wait until a better time, if like I said, if possible, because you've had Mercury even directly across from, again, any planets or your rising sun or whatever that you have in Aquarius. And then Mars was just here not too long ago, and that's not a lot of fun. That planet against, you know, an opposition to your sun or rising sign, it is kind of hard to deal with. And especially now that you have Pluto in your sign, it does make you, it appears to you anyways, you may feel a bit of a target. You know, like, why are people coming to me? Why am I attracting like all these volatile kind of people, or people that seem a little bit shady or something? You know, remember, Pluto governs the underworld, the criminal element, stuff like that. You know, I'm not saying a ton of people like this are going to come into your life, but you may notice them a little bit more, or be more aware of them in your, like, your area or whatever. Like you're within your group of friends. If they bring someone around, you may pick up on something like that right away. Okay, anyways, but I do have to mention that what will really be nice over the years to come is the planet Uranus being in a fellow air sign, Gemini. So we've got two very unique planets, Uranus and Pluto both, trining one another. So I can only imagine like all the wonderful things you're going to do, and they're going to be very, very different. You know, very, well, Pluto rules the masses, whole generations, so whatever happens that comes from you will affect large groups of people, or a bunch of people born like during a certain decade, something or other. Anyways, let me get to this, okay? So, you know, with your full moon, we each get a full moon, one full moon and one new moon a year. The full moon is your opportunity to get whatever may be bothering you off your chest. You know, it may be because it's happening directly across from your 7th house of close relationships and partnerships. That's where you have the sign of Leo. This is a business partnership, a romantic, or a friendship. This is also the house of open enemies and competition, and many, many other things, okay? So, you know, there was a new moon here, okay, last month. So you probably, you know, started something new within a relationship. It could even been a completely new relationship, but it could be, you know, something within a current relationship that you wanted to change. That's what the new moon was for. It was for you to actually speak up and say, you know, why don't we do this or do that or whatever. And some of this could have even been a little bit of you looking for a little bit more freedom, you know, within a business or within a love relationship or even a friendship. Maybe you're always with this person and you need more time alone or something. You may have voiced that, and I'm pretty sure you said it in like a really nice way, but it looks like it may have gone in one ear and out the other, or they acted like they understood what you were talking about, and yeah, they agreed with you and they were going to do or follow whatever it was that you asked to have done, and maybe that's not happening. Okay, so that's what this full moon is for, is to make that correction, to point out to them, you know what, this isn't the way I wanted things. I wanted them this way, or whatever. Just get it off your chest. That's a full moon, brings problems to the surface so you can do just that, and you don't ever have to deal with them again. Okay, but for now, you still got the sun in Leo, and Venus will be moving here on the 25th, so it may smooth over any kind of like feathers that you've ruffled or feel that you have, you know, maybe, you know, like bothered someone, maybe disappointed them. You know what, in a way, who cares? You know, what about you, right? Why do you have to be the one to bend? This is a compromise of some kind. Okay, that's what you do. It takes two to form a partnership. Now, if it's 50-50 as far as responsibilities go, that's great. That's the way they all should be, but it doesn't always work out that way. Okay? So anyway, so we've got the sun and Mercury finally turning direct here. Maybe once that turns direct, you know, there's a new moon coming up with a new start. Okay, it's in your 8th house, though. That's where you have the sign of Virgo. But up until that point, you've still got Mercury, the sun, and then Venus moving in on the 25th in Leo and in your 7th house, right? A close relationship. So, you know, I would have to say, if there was anything confusing, you know, going on when Mercury turns direct, really try to smooth that out. Especially if it is the 7th house. This is the house of contracts. This is the marriage house. But this is also like verbal and written contracts for business or whatever, an arrangement or an agreement. It would be the best time to, like, even during Mercury retrograde, not to really sign anything unless you absolutely have to. And even then, you give yourself enough leeway to change your mind. Okay, so when this planet turns direct, it's a good idea to really go over anything that you just previously agreed to, possibly with someone, especially if it's a legal matter or even a handshake deal even, okay, to make sure that all parties clearly understand what's going on, okay. And if you need to consult a professional at this time, even like a lawyer, but anyone, now would be the time to do that, when Mercury turns direct and you can get like clear information. Okay, so anyway, the new moon in Virgo on the 23rd, along with Mars, is just, you know, here up until like the 6th, and it was here all last month. So it really energized. This is a money house. It energized this house. Okay, this is the partnership house of money. This is where you have shared property, shared debt also though, but shared bank accounts, credit cards, or if you don't, this is like, you know, just your own accounts, but you know, it's a good time to really check up on them when Mars is here. Anything that you own, even make sure that you like check your property and stuff like that. But you know, I would say to check bank statements and credit card statements and stuff, just to be on the safe side. You know, this is the house of other people's money and resources. This is passive money through means other than earning it. Sometimes you have money coming from a legal matter, possibly a payout of some kind, an insurance payout or a refund, could be a tax refund or anything. Okay, but this is a financial institution, this house here, and you may have had problems with someone, you know, not really giving you what it is that you want. Someone may even possibly have something, physically have something of yours that you've been asking for. You know, they borrowed it, they never gave it back. That's what Mars is good for when it's here in your 8th house, okay? It makes you go after what's yours. If that's your money and it's due you, no matter what way you got it, you want it. This is the house of legacies and inheritances, you know? And if someone borrowed something of yours, including money, you want it back, right? And they just haven't been giving it back to you, maybe. When Mars was here all last month, up until the, you know, 6th of this month, that's the best time to, you know, go after what is yours, okay? Now that the sun moves here and there's a new moon here, it is a new start. So if you do share any kind of accounts with anyone, that would probably be what's going on here is, you know, figuring out who, you know, who's spending too much, who isn't. Should we save more money and or spend it on this? It needs fixed. You know, something or other. But it could also, though, bring in perks like right now, okay? You have Jupiter in Cancer in your 6th house of the workplace, the kind of work that you do, your co-workers, your house of health, and your house of service to others. So having Jupiter here, really it brings a nice rapport with your co-workers, but also the workplace. It seems like a little better or whatever, or your job. It's not usually a promotion, okay, but your job is maybe a little bit easier because someone new started working there that either lightened the load or they're just fun to work with, or you have a better boss or something or other. But you could, you know, like be doing really well at work, and one of the perks that you may be given is like better health insurance, or a company car or something. This is like an 8th house thing, okay, that may be happening. I'm just saying that things may be going pretty well in the workplace, so you may be on the receiving end of some kind of benefit that way. You know, money or resources coming into your life that way. Okay, also, you know, Venus being here, at the same time, you know, there could be the whole workplace romance, stuff like that, you know. I do have to mention, though, both of these planets, especially them together in the 6th house of health and stuff, a lot of times when Jupiter is here, especially for an extended period of time, right, you might gain a little weight or be attracted to sweets, or partying a lot. And you may even work in one of those places where everybody brings food in, like once a week, lays it out on a table. You know, you've got people you work with that are bakers or just whatever, you know. I've worked in a few places like that, you know. I mean, it's easy to gain weight just from going to work, right? And this is in an office, so whatever. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about because I know people everywhere do it, but it's nice. Anyways, when these two planets, okay, are together, Jupiter and Venus, you may have a workplace romance, okay? You may also have, for just the time being, because Saturn and Neptune are in your 3rd house of your everyday life, okay, your neighborhood, your neighbors even. We'll just go with that for now, because I do have to mention there's a possibility that you may have someone in your neighborhood that is going to ask you for a favor. But, you know, with Jupiter being here, the 6th house being the house of service to others, usually what that is for me anyway, is someone needs help, and they come to you and ask you to help them, and in turn offer to do something for you, so you both benefit from the arrangement, okay? And it looks like it could be someone in your neighborhood or a sibling, okay? If you don't have any sibling, it's like someone close to you. And a lot of times stuff like this doesn't work out, but I believe that this may actually be something that does, okay? The arrangement. So if someone offers something to you, but they need you to do whatever, if it's not like a really big deal, it might be a good idea to take it. It looks like it's, you know, going to work out for you. And temporarily, with Uranus and Gemini in your 5th house, you know, 5th house being creativity, romance, fun, gambling and speculation, entertainment of any kind, sports of any kind, and anything to do with children. So this area is where a lot of surprising things are going to happen. Okay, but it's a fun house. It's you know, I don't really see anything too crazy going on here, you know, but it could be somewhere down the road, but we'll wait till we get to that, okay? And then we have Mars moving into Libra on the 6th in your 9th house, a fellow air sign. So now you've got a really nice trine from Mars, okay? 9th house being long-distance travel and communications, foreign countries, people, languages, higher learning, media and publishing, legal matters. It's the house of adventure, okay? And with Mars here, you may really feel like taking off somewhere, especially like travel, especially, well, if you can, to another country, but for some distance. You may want to, you know, go visit someone that lives across your country, whatever, far from you. Or you just may find that you're in touch more with people who do live at a distance. Okay, this is also a time where you may feel like learning something, even if it's just on your own, even if it's just from watching like videos on YouTube. Or you may have someone show you how to do something. And this is like, this could be another thing like with work, okay? I worked in a computer center, and it was open 24 hours, right? We were on military time and stuff. So there were a couple actually, bakers, women that like to bake, and this one would come in and teach this other one how to make roses with icing, you know, for her cakes and stuff like that. So I mean, it's something like that, you know. You could be at work and someone is showing you how to do something that isn't work related, you know, but it's something you would like to know. That's just one thing, but there are a lot of possibilities, okay? But it's something fun, that you are learning how to do something fun. I would have to say maybe even a new language, or you know, something that would be considered maybe different for you, but it is something you've always wanted to know. Maybe people just aren't aware of that, okay? Until you take it up and become like really, you know, fluent at it, or you're an expert and whatever, okay? So the best time to do something each month is when the moon is in your own sign, and the moon is in Aquarius on the 8th and 9th. The best time to lay low is when the moon is in your opposite sign, and your opposite sign is Leo, and those dates are the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. The best time for romance, recreation, creativity, fun, gambling, and speculation, and anything to do with children is the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 30th, and 31st. The best time for money is the 10th, 11th, 23rd, 24th, and 25th. The best time for your career is the 1st, 2nd, 28th, 29th, and 30th. And the best time for communication and travel is the 12th, 13th, 14th, 25th, 26th, and 27th. So I hope you enjoyed your forecast for August. Don't forget to check out my weekly forecast, and I'll see you later. Bye.